not close to me. As I bow down and take a knee, hell goes far as the eye can see. Hoodies and weaponry, naive to being free. Locked us, we chasing keys. Higher eyes, investigators. While we look up to entertainers, ball players, pistol bangers. Big brothers, uncles betrayed by a lie. The homies, so my friendship stay on shuffle. Huddle, still ain't find a plan.
Yo, what up? So before we get into this episode, I do want to talk to you guys about the new Life's a Gamble tees. 100% cotton, side seamed, premium fit, premium feel. Here's the back. So if you like them, or if you want to check out the rest of the stuff on my website, head to www.visionstriveachieve.com and pick something up. Every purchase supports the movement, helps it grow, helps me continue to make these videos. So if you get anything out of this video and you want to support the movement, head to the website, link in bio. Let's get into the episode.
My name is Bones Owens. I was born in Mexico, Missouri, and I'm a musician. My childhood, I grew up in a small town in Missouri, rural farm town, a few thousand people population. I grew up mostly in the country outside of that town. Musical parents. My parents both sing. My mom plays piano. They started me doing music, I guess, lessons around the age of 6. I started playing piano, guitar at like 10. And so, I think that was the music for me was kind of the thing that I used to cope with the sort of some of the isolation of being in the middle of nowhere. It was like kind of a friend. I was an only child till I was 10 years old too. So it was like something I could do with myself, I guess. Started doing music at an early age, started being interested in it very early. And, taking piano lessons, I don't think piano was something I was initially really that interested in or ever that interested in. In hindsight, I'm glad that my mom put me in piano lessons as a kid. But by the time I was starting to figure more stuff out about what I really wanted to do, I switched to guitar at age 10 and kind of that's when it really took off for me. That's when I really felt like shortly after that I could start to sort of craft and create songs of my own. And by the time I was maybe 12, 13 years old, I was starting to write original songs. And from that point on, I was self-taught on guitar. So I really started learning the stuff that I wanted to learn, learning the by ear, just learning the Led Zeppelin records and Jimi Hendrix and Creedence records and stuff like that I was into. And also at this point, this is the 90s, so grunge was huge, and it was a pretty good time for someone that hadn't yet figured out how to play guitar very well to feel like they could play songs and play a Nirvana song or whatever. And so yeah, it was around that time that I really started to sort out the dream of like maybe music is the thing that I want to do for a living or try to do for a living or whatever. Sure. I mean, especially I think everyone doubts what they're doing, if it's the right thing at any point, especially creative or artistic people. The money's not always very good, and there's a lot of sort of the curse of like comparison, I think, to other people, and see other people succeeding around you. You start to wonder, like, am I doing something wrong? Am I, is this my path? I've never fully gone to that point where I've ever thought about quitting. It's either something of me being too stubborn or I don't know, but I can honestly say that the thought has never. I moved to Nashville when I was 21 to really start pursuing music for real, and I've been there for 17 years, and there's never been a point in time when I thought, this is wrong, or this is not what I'm going to do anymore. I think that's normal, and I think that there's definitely been periods where I felt you know, more stressed out about it, or like, you know, whatever, than other times. There's definitely like hardship that sometimes comes from trying to do something that's not really a easy path or a direct path. There's not really a textbook way to make a living doing music, but I find that all of my friends that are still doing it, that have been doing it for so long, are all making a living doing it. You know, it's just the ones that are willing to kind of fight through some of the adversity, I guess, that comes your way, are the ones that I know that are still making a living doing music. And we're sort of the oddballs, honestly. I think out of the bunch, everyone else is probably smarter for having quit at some point, and they probably were smarter than us, but we're stubborn or crazy or something, and we just kept going, and we love what we do. I think that's it. I don't know what else I would do. I think the motivation is that I don't believe that there's any such thing as like a perfect song, or that there's like a a perfect show or a perfect anything like that. I think you're sort of in this business, you're sort of chasing your own tail a little bit, like trying to improve. There's no such thing exactly as perfection, and I'm not really someone who seeks perfection, but there is, like, in this line of work, I guess, if you call it that, it's like there's no exact like finish line. Like if you work for a corporate entity or whatever, like the ceiling is, there's like ranks or whatever, and I mean, there's more successful musicians than other musicians and whatever, right? So there's still a bit of a hierarchy, but still you're kind of competing with yourself. And I think that part of that is a motivation to me. It's like a self-motivating thing of like, okay, we're doing something cool here, but we can do better, or we can do more, or there's always you sell 50,000 records, one album, like, great. You want to put out another record that sells 100, or you want to play a show for twice as many people the next time you come through a city, and so it never stops. And I think it's sort of it's motivating to just keep chasing bigger and better things, not just monetarily, but just finding your audience and finding the people that you're meant to that are meant to hear the story that you're telling. So I think that's the main motivator. It's just, it never stops. It's just like, all right, like, yeah, I'm already the boss of myself, so I can't be the boss more than I'm already the boss of myself, but like, we can just do bigger and better things. You always can. I guess that's the point. Success is kind of like to me, it's kind of a moving target. I think that's what can drive you crazy about doing something in the arts for a living, but it's also the thing that can motivate you to keep going. It's like, what is success? I could feel content and successful one day, and then the next day wake up and think like, no, we're not where we need to be yet, but I think that success for me has always been just, it's not like, okay, whenever I have a gold record, that's success, or a platinum record, that's success. Like those things are cool, but I think that I know You know, I know a lot of people that have gold and platinum records, and I still feel like they're still searching for another level of success. I don't think that there's not a point where you say, okay, I've done everything that I came here to do, I'm going to hang it up. So in that regard, it's like success is almost like there's tiers of it. And the main thing to me, though, is like feeling like you can make a living. My thing was always just wanting to be able to make a living doing what I love. And if I'm paying the bills, playing music, playing shows, writing songs, that's enough success for me. Of course, there's always, again, you can always do more, you can always sell more records, you can always sell more tickets. But the baseline of success for me, and I think probably for several other people, but is just making your living in this world, doing what you love. I would tell myself to not compare myself to other people, and I think I would tell myself to care less about what other people think. I wish I could have figured some of that out a long time ago. It took a while, but you know, creativity, there's nothing that kills it more than comparison, I think. And I think there's a healthy amount of caring what people think in certain instances, but when it comes to anything creative, artistic endeavor, I really think that it's a curse, and I think you can't care about it too much. You really have to trust in your own self, what you know to be true, and to not let anyone else's opinion hold you back from chasing that down. I'm of the opinion that as much as you can do on an independent level, the better off you are. I think that if you become dependent on other people to do too much for you, you become lazy, complacent, and potentially you're letting other people speak into your creativity, where you know what you really want to say, you know what you really want to do more than anyone else can know and more than anyone else can understand. So if you can create by yourself as much as possible, I think that's very important. I mean, I think that there's an importance also to collaboration, and there's a time and a place for it, and I still collaborate with other people. I write songs for other people's records, and occasionally other people co-write songs with me for my records, but I would say I'm a big proponent of creating alone as much as possible, and my own records are about 95% songs that I've written by myself, and that's important to me, and I'm proud of that, and I think that there's certainly no harm in collaboration. There's a lot of great things that come out of collaboration, but I think that there's something to be said about when you see a piece of art or you hear a piece of art or whatever, and it's mostly one person's like focused idea. There's something very powerful about that. It's more distilled, I guess. It's the true message of one person's like mind and heart, and it's not just muddied up with a bunch of different people trying to make it their own, and it's really no one's at the end of the day. I mean, I think this might seem a little bit like trite or whatever, but I think growth, the most growth that I've seen in myself has been during times when I was willing to stretch myself and do things that were out of my comfort zone. Or I think growth comes from saying yes a lot, and being willing to fail a lot, and then reassess and figure out why you failed, and then trying a different way. I I think that's where I find growth in myself and creatively. For me, those have been the most times of growth for me. I think just never being willing to stop. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am today if I had stopped at some point, right? Like at any given point, if I said, today's the day that I've had too much bullshit, whatever happens, you know, whatever obstacles come up. Any day prior to today, if I had said, well, that's too much for me, I'm done, then I wouldn't be here. So I think just never quitting, you know, never accepting defeat and just saying, like, I'm gonna keep on, you know. That's really it. Obviously, honing your craft and getting better as you can every day is great and is important and is a part of why I'm here. Keeping a circle of people around me that I trust and that are willing to help me along my path and understand my path and are wanting to, you know, lift me up and keep me going and motivated has been important. But ultimately, just never quitting is you know, be stubborn as you have to be. You know, don't accept no for an answer. Don't accept defeat, and keep putting one foot in front of the other, even on the hard days. And that's the only way that you end up at the end of a road. If you stop at some point, then you never know what could be at the end of it. It could be something. I can speak from experience. I get almost chills saying it, but if I had ever stopped at some point along the way, I wouldn't be here today, and I don't know what I'd be doing, but I don't think I would be happy. I mean, goals are important, but I wouldn't say I have an end goal. I've got goals that get me to the next place I want to be. But what the end looks like, I don't really know yet. And that's part of the excitement to me of doing what I do, is that I've been surprised continually along the way as I've continued on this path that, you know, with amazing things that have happened along the way and opportunities that have come up that I would have never dreamed in a million years would have happened. And so goals are important, but I think to have an end goal, for me anyway, would be almost more of a distraction from the beauty of the day-to-day thing and just existing in where I am currently. Not being content or not being complacent, I guess. Not being happy to only be right here, wanting to move forward and do bigger and better things, but at the same time, not being like, you know, well, I haven't achieved this yet, so I'm not happy. Like, no, like, I think the end goal is that I know what my next goal is, and then when I achieve that, then I determine what the goal is after that. And maybe the end goal is really just continuing to be happy throughout that whole process and finding ways to stay creative and inspired, and to be always feeling like whatever I'm putting out there in the world, whatever I'm releasing, is the best that I can be doing at that time. And I guess that's it, you know.